We're going to be going over the Chiquita today by Turbo Tools. If you look at it right here, it's got this really cool feature where it holds a spool on there, kind of like a lot of the other auto welders have. It makes it real convenient. Make sure you keep a pair of snips with you. That way you can cut it at the end of the run. We're welding Nora today, so we're actually going to be going at a pretty slow speed and also a low temperature. It's essentially melting a glue stick in there. And then from the previous videos, if you remember, you can tell what kind of rod you're actually using by stretching it. You can always remember that rubber weld stretches and strings like this to make sure you're using the right weld for the application you're doing. So we're gonna get started. So we've got this set at the speed of 4 and a temp of around 6.5. It's got the universal tip on it, so you don't get much scorching of that or carbonation in the tip like traditional nozzles. So we're gonna go like this, pick this guy up. Feed it through. Get to the end, just cut that off. Put the foot back out. Always make sure that you're cleaning it with a brush. You don't want to use like the ones that you use for the traditional nozzles because it'll just get all clogged up and be useless. So this one's, you know, a couple dollars on like Wiggins or something. That is the rundown of the Turbo Tools Chiquita. It's a great welder. The speed on it and the temperature is really easy to control. And just one thing you need to do is make sure you're testing it on a scrap piece before you do anything, because you don't want to ruin the welds in your actual room. This is Jeremy. He's going to be doing the first pass over here. This is the tool that we use. We get it from Winkleman. It saves the blades on the Mozart, so you don't have to change those blades that often because they're so expensive. So he's just going to demonstrate how easy this does the job on the first pass. It's really important to do your first pass because if you don't, it's going to put a lot of tension on the weld rod. And it's going to make a weak weld. So you want to do this and then let the weld cool completely before you do your final pass. And we'll show that in a second. So you can see the height, it leaves it up. So that way when we come through with the final pass after everything's cooled down, we're not trying to take the entire amount of the weld off. That way it has no pull up and make a weak weld. This weld's gonna be really strong and perform like it's supposed to for years.
So I'm gonna do the final pass on this Nora rubber. I have a spray bottle with a little bit of soapy water. Spray down the seam before we do the final pass. It helps glide a little bit easier. Mozart. Then I'm just gonna take a wet rag and wipe up the soap.
Here we have Jeremy. If you look at this room, it's not very long, and then it's two closed ends, so we gotta start from one side, we go to the center, and then we're gonna splice it in. So he's using the Turbo Splicer, which cuts the what we call the football into the side that he's already done, so that way it gives it something to ride up to.
All the way?
Yep. So that way it has something to ride up on. And if you look at the back of the Chiquita here, this wheel is usually following the groove. Once it rides up on that groove, it's actually gonna pop up, and this is gonna follow the weld that's already done.